Hello, welcome to today's live. How's everybody doing this morning? And it is a very early morning. It is about 5:30, but I thought that I would do a live. A second. I got something on the screen here and I can't get it off. Oh, for God's sakes. There it goes. Okay, just a minute. Hit escape. There's a technical problem. Um, I've got the keyboard on the screen. Just a sec. There we go. Oh, boom, booyah. Okay, well, I guess that's okay. Just a second. Oh, wait. Drag here to delete. Okay. Oh, thank you. Okay. I've had this thing on the screen for like a month now, and I couldn't figure out why it was there, and I just took care of it. Okay, so good morning, everyone. So, what's the live about today? Well, we're going to be talking about F1 visas, that's student visas. And the F1, I'm going to talk about procedurally what you do when you want to extend the F1, when you want, and then if you want to change schools, and then if you want to change programs. Like, for example, if you finish a bachelor's and you want to go to a master's. So, those are the issues that I'm going to be talking about with the F1 because there's so many people, so many consults I get where people don't do it right and they go out of status. Their F1 is terminated and then they have to do a reinstatement. Okay. And then what I'll do is I will go back over any questions you had and I will answer them. Okay. And then we'll call it a day. All right, so with the F1, there's a couple things you have to realize uh, right out of the box. First, you have to go to a school that accepts F1s, okay? And I have people that'll go, well, okay, well, where do I go? There's actually a site. There's a couple ways you can do this. There's a site on the internet that lists all schools that accept F1s because in order to do that in the first place, they have to go through all kinds of things to get approval from the government, okay? And secondly, you can just call the school itself, ask for the registrar's office, and say, who's the DSO? Okay, that is the designated school official. That's a specific immigration term. And if the person at the registrar's office goes, huh? Then they probably don't take F1s. Okay. Not to say that everybody who answers the phone at a school will be familiar with that, even if they do have it. So you might call twice just to be sure. Okay. That's the first thing. And the second thing is exactly what I was just saying, the DSO. You need to realize that the designated school official, the DSO, is probably the most important person that you're going to deal with when doing these types of items with an F1. The change of status, or not change status, sorry, change of degree, or when you're going to transfer to a different school, or when you're going to extend the F1. Okay, it all runs through the DSO. So the first things first, there's what's called SEVIS, and that essentially is the governmental database that has your status and maintains it, and everybody can look who needs to see if you're on valid F1 status. So whenever you're going to do anything, you have to make sure that you're validly in F1. So, like for example, if you come to the US on an F1 and you go to the beach and eat hot dogs for a month and don't go to school and go, I think I really want to go to a different school. Let me just go to the DSO. Well, that's not going to happen because you will have already been terminated. You're out of status. The DSO no longer even has the authority to do that. Okay, you'll actually be out of SEVIS. You'll be terminated. So you need to maintain your status. So go to school, go full time, and basically obtain decent grades. Okay, um, and that should be good to maintain your status. So if you, for example, you know, finish one particular section of the schooling and you want to extend to do more, you don't have to file anything with USCIS. You don't have to prepare a petition to extend the F1 because when you extend all the other types of non-immigrant visas when you're here, you you have to file the extension with USCIS and wait and do all that. But with the F1, it's a little different. You just need to do it through the DSO, which is again why the DSO is so important and which is why you need to maintain your status. Okay. Um, you can also, let's say you finish your degree, you got your bachelor's and you want to go get your master's. Again, go to the DSO and have the DSO prepare what's necessary and basically issue you a new I-20. The I-20 is the document that shows you're validly on F1 and what program you're in. Oh, that's my automatic shade lifting on the thing. um, that must mean it's sunrise. Um, so if you want to likewise go to different school, again, DSO. Okay, so the bottom line of what I'm saying here is that with an F1, things are very efficient if you're in status as far as being able to extend or change a different degree or get another degree or go to another school. Okay, but likewise, the DSO has no ability at all to do anything if your status is terminated, okay, or if you violated your status. So they may even ask you all kinds of reasons why do you want to do this and so forth. Just make sure that you properly answer in order to be able to use the DSO to easily get what you need. With an F1, when it says termination date, technically it says D/S, which means duration of status, okay? Which means basically as long as it's supposed to take. Given that, you obviously have a certain time that it will take for you to do the program, whether it's a bachelor's degree or whether it's continuing education or a master's. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Hannah. Um, and so maintain your status, and then you can use the F1 to do whatever you need to get all of your education. Oh, thank you for the roses. And so once you do all that and you get all the F1, okay, get the degree and so forth, then you can go on your immigration way and go get, an H-1B and ultimately permanent residence and all that. One thing you do need to go to USCIS for with the F1, of course, is if you want to get OPT, which is optional practical training, okay, which is basically where you go work for a company, okay. That's where you do need to use them. All right. So that, in a nutshell, is where we are on the F1. Okay. So let me scroll back through people who, hey, I know people look from all over, but are all of you up at 5:30 in the morning? I mean, for me, it's normal. Once it hit 5 o'clock, I'm up. Okay, let's see. Alrighty. I am just scrolling through here to see if we have any questions. I have a question. Does anybody have questions this early in the morning? Let's see. Okay. Let us see. Bear with me as I scroll through. While I'm scrolling, let me just take a side here. Um, I'm sure all of you have heard about the ice raids going on in Los Angeles and what Trump is provoking and all that. Um, if you happen to be at work and there is an ice raid, keep in mind that you have a right to remain silent. Okay? I mean, you can be intimidated and you can be scared because they all have masks on and guns and they're coming in force with the trucks and all that. But you don't have to answer their questions. Now, this is what I would do. You need to show, or you should show, that you have authorization to work. Okay? So if you have the EAD, which is the Employment Authorization Card, that's fine. Obviously, if you're a U.S. citizen, uh, because these are scary times, just make a copy of your passport. If you don't have a passport, make a copy of your birth certificate. Shrink it down, laminate it in pretty plastic, and put it in your wallet or your purse like a credit card. And then just show. Okay, and that's it. And if they want to say, well, where were you born? And do you have any criminal history and this and that? You have a right to remain silent. You have a right to due process. Okay? Due process is not limited to U.S. citizens. Okay? If you're here, you have that right. Okay? Um, so don't confuse that, they might put you in detention with your due process and right to remain silent. But, uh, you know, there's always bond hearings and there's always ways to fight and all that. So you just go along, you be respectful. You don't have to scream or yell or, be disrespectful, but you be respectful. And you say, my attorney said I don't have to respond, so I'm going to remain silent until my attorney is here. Okay? And you certainly do not sign any paperwork. Period. They will not give you anything that will help you, and they will not give you anything you are obligated to sign. No matter what they say, they will lie. They will lie to you. Okay, I've had so many stories over the years, and now especially, they'll say, well, you're required under the law to sign this, or if you don't sign this, you're going to be in detention for the next 30 years. Okay, don't sign. Okay, all right. That was my little aside. Okay, let's continue. See if we have any questions today. Oh, I know you do not want to hear me sing. If I were to sing, you'd think I was pretending to sing that bad, but that's not the case. Okay. Well, we have lots of people that joined, but so far don't have questions. Just a minute. It's possible people are still getting up having their coffee. Alrighty. 1 second. Still scrolling down. Okay. Why does it say sometimes invite so and so to join as a live guest? Like, for example, it says invite Boston Hannah Wig to join live as a guest. Does that mean, Boston, that you have an immigration question you want to ask me and you want to ask it as a guest live and have us go through a discussion? Same question for Puli Medallo, because it doesn't ask everybody if I want live, just them. Okay. Well, Hannah got the #1 gifter badge. Okay. Okay, just a second. Okay, so we have some We have some questions down here on F1, which is good because that's what the subject's on today. Okay, this is from Barbad. If someone entered on an F1, had to seek asylum when being on the F1, graduated this May, well, that's not a question. I'm assuming what you're saying is if someone's on F1, can they seek asylum while being on F1? And the answer is yes. Okay. Um, oh, and they graduated. They already graduated. So the issue then that comes to mind is have they been here more than a year? Because the bottom line with asylum is you have to apply within 1 year of entering the U.S. Okay, now a that's not a drop dead rule that means you can't apply whatsoever. Okay, what it means is that if you came here on an F1, you graduated, it's been more than a year, and now you want to apply for asylum, you will have to show why you did not apply for asylum within the last year. Okay? Whether it's changed country conditions, whether, your brother got killed from the military for doing whatever, you have to show something changed within the last year. Now, it doesn't have to be that severe. I mean, the fact you're legally on F1 by itself might be a good argument as to why you didn't apply because now you've finished and you're no longer on F1. But given that I'm saying that, it's always good to apply for asylum if you qualify within the first year because then you don't have to deal with this 1 year issue. Okay? If you apply and it's denied and you're still on F1, then that's it. They don't put you in removal proceedings. They don't do anything basically. You just go back to as you were on F1. Okay? By the way, I have a goal for 3 roses. Can someone send me 3 roses? Okay. Okay, and this is from Barbet also. You applied for OPT. Oh, thank you, Haito. Appreciate it. You applied for OPT, is waiting. Do they have anything to be worried about? Well, the thank you, Popcan, for the roses. Yay. You the answer is the same, Barbad. The answer is absolutely the same. If they applied for OPT and they did it properly, they can still apply for asylum. Okay, you don't have to mix the two. One doesn't look at the other. If they qualify for asylum, they qualify and they can apply and go their way. If they properly did the OPT, it's a completely different division. It's like 2 horses running down the track. They don't care as long as they don't run into each other. Okay, no problem. Okay, this is from. This is very long. M22839202020202. Why do you have a name like that? Okay, I was arrested on F1, but the prosecutor dropped everything because he saw no criminal intent. Okay, well, that's a good thing. Okay, but there's things to be concerned about. I suspect your question is, do you have to worry about when you leave the country and you come back on F1, or do you have to worry about if you change status, or if you want to do what the subject of this live is, if you want to, extend your F1, things like that. And if everything was dropped, then technically you're not inadmissible based on that, whatever it is they were charging you with. But the trap that people fall into with this is they then think because everything was dropped, they never have to say anything anymore. They don't have to disclose anything. And that's not true. And then what happens is you end up not disclosing that you were arrested. You end up not discussing carefully what happened. And now you have a charge of fraud against you and misrepresentation. You get denied the visa. So even though you were arrested and everything was dropped, does not mean that this will never come up again. And keep in mind, under immigration law, if you admit the essential elements of a crime, even if you weren't convicted, you're inadmissible under immigration law. So I don't know what you were arrested for, but let's say, it was assault, okay, and let's say they determined you had no criminal intent to scare or, to commit the assault, whatever. But let's say that you did, and you say, well, I did have the intent, except I had a good lawyer who had a really good argument, and they believed him, so I got off. Well, you've just made yourself inadmissible based on your admissions. So I'm not saying to lie or misrepresent, but don't be silly and state the elements of a crime either. Okay? I mean, and then the same person with all the numbers, you say it was dismissed outright, which is fine. That doesn't change anything I'm saying. That doesn't mean they're not going to ask you why you were arrested. And that doesn't mean they're not going to try to make you admit that you did it. Okay? All right. And there you go. It's the same, and there's a third part of the question. And how's it going to be the renewal? Okay? Well, again, it's the same exact thing that I'm telling you, that you're going to have to disclose you were arrested. Okay? But you can be smart how you answer what happened without lying or misrepresenting. I was arrested on so-and-so. Everything was completely dismissed. And you might want to get paperwork to prove it, okay? But it was completely dismissed. I didn't do anything. The judge believed I didn't do anything, saw there was no evidence, and everything was dropped. Boom! That's the end of the story. Okay, that's it. All right. Well, just a minute. Let me make sure. I think that I have answered. Well, let's see. This is from Popkin. I have withholding of removal for less than 2 years. Am I entitled to expedited removal? Okay, you're not using the word entitled right. Entitled is something you want, okay? Nobody wants to be expeditedly removed. What you're basically saying, oh, thanks. Oh, the Chosen's back. Thank you for the roses. That's an easy name to remember. See? So when you have withholding of removal, no, you cannot be expeditedly removed. Okay, period. What you have to worry about when you have withholding of removal is what the heck was that? I think someone sent me a cha-ching. What you have to worry about is that if the country conditions change such that withholding of removal is no longer necessary, the government can make motions to get back into court to revoke the withholding of removal, so then afterwards you could be deported. Okay? So while you're here on withholding of removal, I always see what else the people might qualify for, what you might qualify for right now, because you're safe right now, okay? Although given what our administration is doing, who knows? But as of right now, you're safe. So don't sit there and relax and go to the beach every day. Find out from a qualified immigration attorney, like myself, what else you might qualify for. I want to know why you got withholding and why you didn't get asylum. Okay? Generally, that's why people get withholding, because they don't qualify for asylum. So did you have, for example, the 1 year issue, and maybe you didn't fight it? Maybe your lawyer said, well, there weren't any good arguments, so let's just withdraw the asylum application. I need to know. Are you educated? Do you have an employer that's willing to sponsor you? Because maybe you can start the perm process while you're on withholding, and then eventually get the green card that way. Because withholding is never going to get you the green card. You're in limbo right now. I mean, it's nice at least being in limbo and not being deported, but still, if you don't have to be in limbo, why not do that. So there's all kinds of ways that you can do something now while you're safely in the withholding bubble. Okay, don't view that as an end all to everything. It's not. Obviously, you don't want to worry every day. Well, now that the country's gotten better, that I got withholding from, what's going to happen? Because believe me, if they see the government right now sees that there's any change to the better, and the government in your home country, and honestly the way it is now, even if they don't, they might try to revoke the withholding, and claim that it's all better. Okay, so don't take that chance. All right, give my office a call. Okay, let's see. Well, I just got a gift from somebody who does. Oh, wait, no. Your name is just sent a gift. That's funny. Okay. Okay, this is from Haito. With the 601, the I-601 form, how long does it take to hear from the courts? Okay, well, when you're doing an I-601, which is a waiver, first of all, it depends where it is that you have filed it. Okay, and that depends on your current situation. You know, you can do this. Uh, thanks, Chosen. That you can do this while you're in the U.S., while you're out of the U.S. You can do it while you're in proceedings, out of proceedings. So it depends. So it's hard to answer that question without knowing jurisdictionally where it is that you filed it. Okay, but I can tell you that it is taking a while. So regardless, so realistically, you're looking at like 1 to 3 years. Okay. All right. If somebody's N400 was denied because of speeding tickets, would they get an NTA? Okay, so someone applied for naturalization. They had speeding tickets, and they want to know if you're going to get the notice to appear to be put in removal proceedings. Okay. Um, well, first of all, I don't know why you would get an N400 denied for a speeding ticket unless you were like going really fast and you were reckless, and they're claiming you didn't have good moral character because you were putting people in danger. Okay. For the same reason, it's unlikely you'll get issued an NTA because of that. If I were you, I would have someone like me review why it was denied because of a speeding ticket, and then either do a motion to reopen because it was improperly denied, or reapply with all of the legal explanations of why it should not be denied because of that. Okay? Alrighty. Um, okay, again, somebody answer me why some people, why it says invite some people and other others it doesn't. Like here's Baby K6399. Do you have immigration questions that you want to talk to me live about during the live here? Same with T Royale. Some with Uncut Mother Z. Okay. Um, there's a lot of people here that want to know, or DeAngelis, or Popkin36. See, look at this. There's a lot of people that want to. I don't know if I'm just unfamiliar if when it says invite so and so as a guest, if you want to ask me questions live, because I have no problems talking with you live about immigration questions if that's what you want, but I need to have confirmation that that is what you want before I click the invite, because I don't want to talk about the weather. Okay. Okay. Okay, so we have some, this is from The Chosen, we have some clarification. So it was reckless driving. Okay, so that might be a reason to deny the naturalization. It's very unlikely an NTA would be issued. Okay, um, very unlikely. And even if an NTA was issued, there's all kinds of ways to fight and win removal proceedings. Okay, alrighty. Let me just make sure that I haven't skipped any questions here, because I think it's about I think it's about time for me to get up and start the day. All right. Okay, I think that'll do it. All right. Um, everybody, it's been a pleasure. Uh, that's it for today. Until the next live, everybody enjoy the rest of your day.